How are we doing? We're just going to go over a little market review, and today we had a large range of expansion lower. These are all my annotations I have on the chart. All these annotations that I think is pertinent. I have a lot of annotations, but I just kind of want to get right into it. So as we see, today we had 930, and 930 we just had a straight run lower, and we kind of just straight expanded lower into these discount arrays. Like ICT was talking about, like he's been saying, we have this weekly BISI here. Anytime that we have a strong weekly draw on liquidity, that's like when we're gonna get these large expansion moves. And as we see, coming into today, we had a daily swing high. A daily swing high was made. We put in a swing high here. So what are we likely to see? In my opinion, we're more likely, and as a result of today, we're likely to see expansion lower than we are to see expansion higher because we have this swing high on our side. And notice here how we trade lower. We trade lower. We actually color outside of a new weak opening gap. We trade into a daily volume balance. The daily volume balance that I'm noting on my chart is this daily volume balance right here. And then we're also trading within this weekly buy side imbalance, sell side efficiency. So now we have traded into that weekly candle. Right now, what do we have? We have a weekly swing high here, and now we've had a potential bearish fair value gap here. So for tomorrow trading, I'm going to be looking at this high. Maybe do we want to have an immediate rebalance here? It could happen. If we want to have an immediate rebalance, then we honestly could see lower prices. We have this buy side imbalance here. Obviously, we have an SMT with ES here. So this could be where smart money is accumulating short positions to ultimately see these lows here. But let's see if these lows might get saved for the election, which happens in around a month. So we could consolidate within this range. There's a bunch of possible scenarios, but we're just kind of looking at intraday volatility. So right here, 15-minute chart, this can be pretty much all I really necessarily need to see. And as we see right now, we could see like a little Asia model today. All these executions are just me following along and doing the volatility pinball. Nothing crazy. And I actually really like the concept and the idea of just entering, getting used to that, getting used to doing that, getting used to do that, get your reps. I really like the reference to you're just practicing, which I thought was pretty nice. And notice, where do we close today? We closed within a new week opening gap, which I'm going to put on my chart because I honestly didn't have that on my chart. So notice how we close with that. So right here at 9:30, we get straight expansion lower. We trade within volume imbalance, and look at the low end here, respected here. Then we trade higher to trail buy stops. And what I really want to point out, I know I have a little bunch of annotations, that we have this SIBI here. So we have a SIBI here, and then what do we have here? This is the balanced price range. Notice how the balanced price range keeps us from trading into this inefficiency here. And notice what else do we have here? We have two new day opening gaps. Like, this is absolutely beautiful delivery. So we put in a swing high here on the 15-minute. Then what do we see once we put in a swing high or swing low on daily chart, 15-minute chart? So this price is fractal. We're likely going to trade lower. What do we have here? Inefficiency lower. Does this not look like this on the daily chart? Not exactly, but we have an inefficiency lower that probably will get traded to. I guess we'll see. Only time will tell. And right here, same thing. Swing high, we have an inefficiency lower that we're trading into, and we're also trading into a new week opening gap right there. So let's kind of head to the 5-minute. I like to do whenever I'm looking at price action, I go 15, 5, and then I go to the 1 minute. I don't really mess around with like the 4-minute, 3-minute, 2-minute. Here, what do we have? We have an immediate rebalance on the 15-minute chart, and we have a SIBI on the 5-minute. Notice how prices expanded lower. All these annotations, these are all important arrays. We have a current new week opening gap here as well. And notice how, oh wait, hold up. And notice how we're just displacing through that. So we're trading through that. We're not respecting any of these arrays. And in my opinion, I would have liked to seen more manipulation here to see this large of expansion, in my opinion. But we have taken and accumulated buy stops above true day here, and then we're just expanding lower. We have that weekly draw. So in my opinion, I would have liked to have seen a more meaningful raid here, and then probably into this first. I was looking at this. I want to see this first presentation get traded into, and then we just straight displace lower. Right here with this SIBI and also that immediate rebalance here, we still have range left here to trade that weekly BISI. That would have been a nice trade. Then we have the Sibi here. We have another immediate rebalance on the 15-minute chart. And then we trade lower to that low end of this weekly BISI. Then what do we form here? We form a balanced price range on the 5-minute. Notice the bodies here respecting that. Notice the wicks are mohawking out to that weekly or that daily volume imbalance low. Then we trade lower, and then we trade up higher to where buy stops. Notice how buy side liquidity gets perfectly respected. We're accumulating, then we're trading back within that range, referring to BISI there. So kind of want to get into the 1-minute chart and then just kind of point out some 15-second annotations. That's kind of going to be it. Notice here how we have first presentation. First presentation doesn't really give us anything. Notice how we leave first presentation as a breakaway. And notice all this. So we originally have a fair value gap here. I was just trading higher. A big fair value gap. This candle is, I think, around 60 points. I kind of measured it. Around 62 points, this whole candle. And notice how we're trading through this weekly volume imbalance high, this weekly volume imbalance low, and this box is yesterday's first presentation. We're not respecting that as an array, and we're not respecting this as an array. So we know that price really has somewhere to get to. Notice how here, immediate rebalance here, this gets left as a breakaway, doesn't even get traded into. We're still displacing lower. This is constantly encroachment of a daily candle, notice, or daily wick. Notice how we're trading through that. Admittedly, I kind of want to see us trade back up into that and act as a premium array, but notice how bearish price is. So we're trading lower. All this is balanced. We're trading lower. Immediate rebalance. Look at that Sibi on the 5-minute. Also Sibi on the 1-minute. And we're trading lower. 10 a.m. news comes out. We take buy stops here. That is just used to trade lower. Notice what else we are trading up into. Perfect delivery to that open right there. And then there's a little inversion that ICT entered on. And then we trade higher. ICT went over that. I don't really want to go over that. Then we have buy side taken here within this Sibi right there. And then we're trading higher back to that Sibi here. Notice here, like this is why I think short-term trading and scalping is just so beneficial, because even here we're trading up to a 5-minute BISI. Okay, maybe you missed all of this. There's still some opportunity here. Notice how we're trading higher. We're respecting that Sibi. Look at the bodies respecting that high end. We're not trading higher. So what do we have here? We have sell side liquidity. What is all this? We're not even displacing higher. This is clearly drawing lower. And as we notice, we have no inefficiency. It's just balanced delivery lower. And then we trade lower to that sell side, and then that volume balance low. And then we trade higher. And right here, what does 11:30 start? 11:30 starts the lunch macro. What has been profitable? Obviously, short positions have been profitable. So what do? We reprice the AM buy stops. And look at this 5-minute BISI. Gets traded to perfectly to constant encroachment of that Sibi right there. And notice what do we have here? A balanced price range forms after taking in sweeping liquidity. Also notice this inefficiency. So originally we trade up in that Sibi here once, and then we trade lower to gather more, to gather and reprice this inefficiency here, and we get another drive higher. So what is this? Buy side. So we've now taken two types of buy stops, and we've also taken AM buy stops. And now what do we see? We see displacement lower. What time is this occurring? 11:50 macro. Balanced price range forms. Sibi, buy side taken. Shift to market structure. Fair value got 2022 model right there. And what are we trading lower to? That volume balance low. That could be a partial. Sell stops could be a partial. And then that volume balance low could also be a partial. That's what we do. We trade higher. We have a mitigation block. These two down close candles right here. We don't take liquidity. If we had taken liquidity, that would have been a breaker. But look at that price delivery. This right here, I'm honestly gonna delete. That was the annotation I had on earlier. But look at that delivery. Then we trade lower to where? Sell stops. We have a Sibi right here. And now 1:30 starts. 1:30 starts, and that macro is starting here. What do we get? Straight displacement. So right here at 1:30, straight displacement. Then what do? We come back down into this inefficiency right here. We're also reclaiming that 5-minute balanced price range. We're likely going to see higher prices. Notice what else we are. We're within a deep discount here. So in my opinion, it wouldn't, after seeing this big displacement at 1:30, we are going to most likely reach premium arrays. That's what we do. We reach buy side liquidity there. And notice how nice and efficient, or inefficient, I guess you could say, this price run is. We are just trading rapidly higher buy side imbalance here. This is the low resistance liquidity run. Look at that 5 minute BISI there, and we're not even trading back to fair value gaps here. We're leaving breakaway gaps. Breakaway buy side imbalance. 2 down close candles getting traded into. 2 down close candles trading into. Now what are we doing? We're approaching. Sorry, market on close. Silver bullet right here is here. 2 p.m. right there. That's offering some handles there. I need to get a to be honest, I don't annotate silver bullet that much. But there's silver bullet. We trade higher to buy side. We're accumulating. Notice how we're trading below a first presentation. We're trading below those new day opening gaps here. So we're trading below that after taking buy side, and we're just accumulating around that. Then we're trading lower. We get displacement. This is a SIBI, but we'll see that on the 15-second chart. So we have a SIBI right there. We have a balanced price range with this gap right here. We also have a volume imbalance there on the lower time frame. That we trade lower. SIBI, SIBI. Notice how we do have this new week opening gap, and then we trade into this other new week opening gap, BISI, and then this BISI gets traded into. And then what do we do here? 350. We attack trailed buy stops, where we attack some obvious liquidity here. We have this obvious high here. We attack that into a new week opening gap. Also a SIBI right here, and then we kind of just fizzle out for the market on close. So very nice market delivery today. Let's look at that 15-second chart. I'm not really gonna go into a 5-second chart because I honestly don't need to see that much on today. But what do we have here? Right here, short-term buy side cleared. What do we trade up to? A SIBI here. New day opening gap right here, and ICT execute on this. What is this? Inversion gets traded below and through. So once we traded through that, we have this SIBI right here with these 2 up close candles. Right there. Perfect delivery. Trade lower, and then what do we immediately do? Immediately rebalance. Immediate rebalance. Failing to create inefficiency. Notice how we leave a SIBI here with that new day opening gap, but never get traded to. We create a 1 minute inversion, and what do? Create another SIBI. Another SIBI on the 15-second chart that gets traded into. And notice here, this is the new week opening gap. That could be a draw on liquidity. Granted, we do trade all the way down here, but from here, or from here to here, that's a model. Trade lower, institutional order flow entry drill. Just notice how heavy price action is here. That's the immediate rebalance. 1 minute. We don't trade to that open right there. That would have been nice if we did. We trade lower. We're leaving a breakaway gap. Short-term buy stops. Looks like they're attacked here, I believe. Buy stops trailed. All this is efficient delivery. Trading lower, higher. Look at that old first presentation. Notice what do we have here. This is very nice to see. We have 10 a.m. news. So 10 a.m. has news. We've had a large range lower already. We still have range. We still have opportunity to the draw on liquidity. And notice what we do here. Like 5 minutes before, we trade up into short-term premium, and then we attack buy stops. Then we take that liquidity, then trade lower. We have a 15-minute SIBI. We just traded into an immediate rebalance here. What do we have here? We have an inversion, and then we also have this SIBI right here. Beautiful. Then we're trading lower. Again, nice delivery here. We trade up. We attack buy stops. And then launch macro begins. I don't really need to point out anything here. I just want to note this. ICT was talking about this in the live stream today. How any of these, he called it a common gap, and then he also called it a dual volume imbalance on the daily chart. But I want to annotate this because that's that full volume imbalance. We trade higher, look at price, respect that, and look at price respect. I believe that would be constant encroachment since it's a gap, but it might be someone else. But yeah, it would be constant encroachment. And notice even here, we trade higher, and when we get displacement, like even this right here, that's a trade. That's a trade. That's an entry. That's an entry. What are we trading to? This red box is that new weak opening gap. We have a BISI here, a BISI here. We failed to trade to the weekly volume balance, and we trade off our highs. We trade off our lows to trade to buy side liquidity and also that new week opening gap. So very nice delivery today. Honestly, like this price action last week was not very good, and I wasn't really on the charts as much. Like this week, price action has already been shaping up to be pretty good. But in terms of the daily chart and my bias going into the rest of the days, I kind of want to see if we can mount a run lower to this inefficiency. That's kind of where I'm looking for. Although it doesn't really seem like we have too many arrays. I do want to see this liquidity kind of left, in my personal opinion, for like the election. So I don't know, that this could be like paired around like election time. I honestly don't know, but it's kind of hard to have a strong long-term bias with an election coming up. So don't want to be too strict on that bias. But anyways, hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I will see y'all in another market review. I definitely will have. I say this every time, and the reason why is because I think I'm just gonna do market reviews like this. Is so much easier, so much better in my opinion. It's just a lot easier to create them, and I'm honestly just creating them for myself. So like, I don't really care if like too many people see them. I kind of just like going over and annotating my thoughts on the charts. But like when I try to do slideshows, it's just like it does take a while, and it's honestly not that much better. Anyways, hopefully y'all have a good rest of your day. I'll see y'all in the next one.